Hey everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Fun with Flags 50. I hate you for your name.
Zoobly zoo, zoobly zoo, magic
Yeah.
and wonder are waiting for you.
Which is not a show we will be discussing today because I didn't come across that show until a couple years ago.
I'm pretty sure we both came across it the same exact place,
Probably.
the same exact way.
God damn you, Collider Live. Anyways, we're not here to discuss about favorite shows in the past. We're here, well, actually, technically, I guess we are. We are here to talk about the children's shows from when I was a kid. Well, except one. One's from more my cousin's generation, but I figured I'd give it a shout out as well. Over here, we have, okay, well, let me ask you, do you have your own, on your side of the world, do you have your own channel dedicated to children's programming?
Yes, it's literally called the Children's Channel.
So ours is
Creative,
called,
am I right?
yeah, pretty on the nose for you guys. No, ours over here is called YTV, which for a long time I always thought, and I just found out it's not the case, does not stand for youth television. This is the original logo. It's been around since the 80s. It used to be channel number 2 on cable when I was a little kid. And if you wanted to watch all your favorite after-school shows and cartoons, that was the channel to go to.
So the Children's Channel, or the Kids Channel, let's call it the Kids Channel because it's shorter, have almost the exact same logo, just a lot lazier.
This isn't the current logo. I use this one because this is the one from when I was watching the channel.
Yeah, well, I was also referring to the old logo, which I believe is still used by the channel these days, but it's basically just the square with the name of the channel.
Yeah, nowadays, YTV in this fancy circle. This was better. This was better. But yeah, like I said, this channel has been around for a long time. I think it's the 80s, I believe, is when it was launched. Not too long before I was born. What year was it launched? Yeah, 1988. 1988. So actually, I was oh wow, September 1st, 1988. So 3 days away from my first birthday.
Ooh.
Yeah,
It was beautiful. It was basically made for you.
more or less. Now the first show we're going to talk about wasn't made for me. This is the one that's more was my cousin's show. It was a TV show called The Big Comfy Couch. Ever heard of it?
The Big Comfy Couch.
So The Big Comfy Couch was a TV show that focused.
Yes, I used to watch that show.
Fuck off, really?
Yes.
You and my cousin are the same age. So that actually does check out because you were also born in 94, correct?
93.
Okay, so she's 94. Yeah, no, that definitely checks out. So for those who don't know, Big Comfy Couch is a TV show about a clown named Lunette and her living doll Molly who solve everyday problems on her Eponius couch. Basically, 50, what do you remember from this show?
Well, I do remember that the doll never actually spoke. She just had these dialogue bubbles that the girl just understood what she said. And you know they used to have to go to adventures. There's the grandma in the on her right with her cat.
Granny Garbanzo.
What?
Granny Garbanzo.
If you say so.
So I've got the list of names in front of me.
Oh, okay. And there were these dust bunnies living underneath the couch, and they had their own segment. What?
Yeah, Fuzzy and Wuzzy.
Makes sense. But I don't remember any of the other characters. I just remember her and the doll, the grandma and the cat, and the dust bunnies.
Yeah.
Show you I remember.
Sickle Fritz is Granny's cat, the mischievous one. Major Bedhead is the local clown courier, basically the mailman. You had Auntie Macassar, who is Lunette's traveling aunt. And then later on, starting in season 2, you had a brief appearance by a character named Wobbly, who's a close friend of Granny's from Clowntown. So like I said, this one was more after me. So I would have been, my cousin was born, I would have been about 7 years old. So a couple years later, I would have been about 10 when she was in the heyday of this. She had all the dolls. I mean, you couldn't walk into that house and not see the Big Comfy Couch. And it's still, I believe, still going around today. Different actress playing Lynette. But you want to hear something cool that I just found out about the original actress?
Go ahead.
Her name is Allison Court. She's also does a lot of voice acting. She was the original voice of Jubilee in the classic X-Men cartoon.
Cool. I like it.
And for you mature video game nerds, she is the original Claire Redfield from Resident Evil.
Not
I
a
don't know that
Resident
until
Evil.
today.
I learned something new every day. So this was actually not on the kids channel, which I just now, as I looked it up, yeah, they changed their logo again and it's horrible. But yeah, so the kids channel was on channel 6, which was for children from ages, shall we say, 6 to 14-ish.
Okay.
This was actually on a different channel called Hop, as in Hop Hop Hop, which was actually made for toddlers all the way up to age 5 or 6, which was that was channel 2, and the kids channel was channel 6 before cable entered the picture, and then everything got wibbly wobbly.
Mm-hmm. Timey-wimey?
Not timey-wimey, just wobbly, wibbly wobbly. Like on this on this cable service, it was like 42 and 46, and on this channel, it was in this cable network, it was 86 and 82. But I mean, the 2 and the 6 sort of remain constant-ish. I don't know what it is right now because I don't have cable anymore, but still.
Okay, so this next one is kind of controversial nowadays. Just not something you thought about when you were older, when you were younger. Sorry, but as you got older and you started learning things, like this isn't good.
Yeah, there are a lot of children's shows like that these days.
You ever heard of the TV show Babar?
Of course I did. Well, what's controversial about it? The rhino?
Because it's about colonization.
Oh well, now it totally makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't know that for the longest time, but this is a show about colonization. So basically, for those of you who don't know, Babar is actually originally based off a series of children's books, French children's books, about Babar the Elephant. And what they did in the 80s, this character's been around since 1931, but in the 80s over here in Canada, they decided to make a TV show about it. They're obviously based on the books. The plot of the first 2 seasons focus on the story of Babar as it is told to him by his children. The past Babar is a young elephant who, traumatized by a hunter slaughtering his mother, flees from his home forest in exile to the city, where a kind old lady adopts him and teaches him the ways of human life. He returns to his home forest full of ideas for progress, and following the previous Elephant King's death from eating poisonous mushrooms, hatches a plan to drive out the unnamed hunter and his men. For his heroism, Babar is crowned King of the Elephants, plans and builds Celestville, and grows up to become a father himself. So, as you can see, colonization.
Yep.
So the main characters, you had obviously Babar, who is the king. You had his wife, Celeste, who is, the place is named after her. She was Babar's childhood girlfriend, and she is smart, brave, and spirited. She's also been all over the world. You got Arthur, who is Babar's mischief-making brother-in-law. You have Palm, who's the oldest of the kids. Flora, who's second oldest. Alexander, who's the youngest, and then most naturally Goofy. The third youngest. You had Isabel, who is the very youngest. And of course, you had Babar's mother, who is an elephant who was shot and killed by the hunter in the first episode of the show. I remember this
is a kids show, by the way.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I did watch the show, but I remember more reading the books.
I remember mostly the show. I didn't know it was based on books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you kind of skipped over the whole rhinos subplot.
Oh yeah, that's right. And I forgot about the rhinos.
Yeah. Rataxis.
Yeah,
the rhino.
Yeah.
I remember that. It's drilled into my brain and it won't leave.
Yeah, no, basically the rhinos are the rival tribe of the kingdom. Lord Rataxis is the king of Rhinoland. He is usually rude, cold-hearted, and very power-hungry. He is a character that only appears once in the books, but he does become the main bad guy in the TV series.
That's why I remembered it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, thank you for reminding me about that. Yeah. All right. Next up, we have one that a lot of people on this side of the world grew up watching. It wasn't just relegated to Canada. It was the TV horror anthology, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Have you ever heard of the show, 50?
I might have heard it under a different name, but I don't think I ever watched it. But it's nice to see Harry Potter getting some work in before his big break.
Yeah, actually, what's funny enough about this show is there are actually some very famous people that got this was some of their early work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like who?
So basically, Are You Afraid of the Dark? It revolves around a group called the Midnight Society, and what the Midnight Society is, they basically they sneak out of their house in the middle of the night. They go to a campfire and they tell each other ghost stories. That's basically what it is. It's a literal horror anthology. Yeah, hold on. I'm just trying to find the list of people who were on here, but that made it famous. That actually made it. Oh, there we go. List of Are You Afraid of the Dark cast members. Let's see if I recognize any names that you might recognize, because I know that there have been some that have appeared as guest stars.
Give me a second. I'm gonna try and see if I can find.
Okay, so here are some people that have appeared in this show as not necessarily the main characters, but as regulars in the stories that they tell.
Okay.
So you've got Alicia Cuthbert, who was on 24, and she had probably the height of her movie career was in the 2000s. You had Jade Baruchel,
from How to Train Your Dragon.
Yep, from How to Train Your Dragon. Emily Van Camp, do you recognize that name?
Yeah, Agent 13 from the MCU.
Exactly. Let's see.
Slow down.
Yeah, exactly. How about Rachel Blanchard?
Sorry. No.
Okay. How about Aaron Ashmore?
Yeah, Iceman.
Yep. How about Eddie K. Thomas?
No, sorry.
He played Finch in American Pie. Here's one for you. Jewel Skate.
Which was?
She played Kaylee Fry in Firefly.
Still have not watched that show, begrudgingly.
Okay, let me see. I know there's a few other. How about Bobcat Goldthwait?
Who?
He was a comedian in the 80s. He was in Police Academy 2, 3, and 4. Let's see.
Say that name again.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
His name might have actually come up on SCN Live a lot of times.
Oh yeah, well yeah, because they ran in the same circles. How about Melissa Joan Hart?
Not exactly.
Really? Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
She was Sabrina?
Yeah.
Okay, now I got it.
Live action Sabrina.
What?
The original live action Sabrina from the 90s.
Yeah, that's the one I was referring to. That's the one I used to watch with my mom back in the day.
Yep. A couple more. How about Will Friedle?
No, sorry.
Batman Beyond? The Batman Beyond. He's a voice actor, Terry McGinnis.
He's Terry McGillen?
He's Terry McGinnis. He's more famously known as the older brother in Boy Meets World.
Which, as we talked about it, I still haven't watched.
Yeah. Okay. How about Gilbert Gottfried?
Nope, no idea who that guy is. Nope, definitely not a very recognizable voice. He probably never was in a movie I ever watched 100,000 times. Like, probably doesn't have a very recognizable face, and most likely didn't pass away this year.
I know, right? No, and that's just a list. That's just a list. Like a lot of these older shows from that time will have a lot of people before the beginning of their careers.
Yeah, I mean, like the original kids from Barney are also really, really famous, aren't they? I think one of them is like Demi. I think one of them is Demi Lovato from Barney.
She's not one of the original, but yes, she is one of the Barney kids.
Yeah, I mean, one of I think one of the characters from the Israeli Sesame Street is also very famous. She worked with the Pale Trackers, and she was also in the Israeli version of the Golden Girls. The Golden Girls. Sorry.
Oh, nice. Right, you guys.
Yeah. These types of shows are a great platform for people.
Totally, especially when they're kids. Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato. Yeah. Demi Lovato, Demi Ryan, Tyler Pratt.
Your audio sort of
Yeah, I have no idea who most of these kids are. All right, so next up we have this is an American show. Only lasted a year, but I watched it on YTV. It's a stop animated show called Bump in the Night.
Bump in the Night.
So, Mr. Bumpy is a small green, purple warded monster living under the bed of a 10-year-old boy where he eats dirty socks and dust bunnies as if they were delicacies. His best friends are Squishington, a blue monster that lived in the bathroom's toilet cistern, and Molly Coddle, a Frankenstein's monster-like ragdoll belonging to the boy's sister who acts as the straight man to the other's crazy antics. You also have Destructo, the boy's toy robot who sees himself as a cop and persecutes Mr. Bumpy for his actions. And there is also the Closet Monster, who's made up of the boy's pile of clothes and chases after Mr. Bumpy. So it was basically a show that was split into 2 major parts in a half hour, and it had a music video at the end of every episode. Yeah, it was quite a show. Like I said, it didn't last long, only a year. But Rob Paulson is Squishington.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. You gotta love Rob Paulson for those of you, and of course Gilbert Gottfried appeared on this show as well. So did Cheech Marine, and Jim Cummings was Mr. Bumpy the Closet Monster. Now, if you don't know who Jim Cummings is, he is probably the foremost.
Oh yeah, he's Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, he's Winnie the Pooh. He's Tasmanian Devil. He's Pete in Goofy stuff. He's Monterey Jack in the original Rescue Rangers. He's Darkwing Duck. He's Dr. Robotnik in the Sonic animated series. Like
Isn't
this guy.
Isn't he also Scooby-Doo? Or is that Frank Welker?
I think it's Walker.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, he's in. He's a famous name in the voice acting community as 50 in myself.
He's a legend in the voice acting community.
Yeah, he's to our time what Mel Blanc was to their time.
Yeah,
is the best way to describe it, right?
What?
It's the best way to describe it. He's comparable to Mel Blanc at this point.
Actually, I might give it to Frank Welker, actually, but I mean that's just me.
That's actually fun. That would actually be a fun conversation. They'll debate who's better, Welker, Blanc, or Cummings.
And while we're at it, might as well throw Luke Skywalker in the conversation. Mark Hamill.
True. But here's my reasoning for going towards Mel Blanc. Mel Blanc is he's the original.
It's like the Simpsons Family Guy crossover episode when you realize both of them just ripped off the Flintstones.
Pretty much. Yeah, no, Mel, let's look at the list of characters he voiced. Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, Tweety, Sylvester, Yosemite Sam, Foghorn Leghorn, Taz, and a whole shit ton of other characters in there. He's also the Barney, Rubble, and Dino in the Flintstones. He's Mr. Spacely. He's and he's Captain Caveman. And my favorite story about him. Wow. Captain Caveman, yeah. My favorite story about him though is he was involved in a major car crash back in 1961 that put him into a coma. He'd been there in the coma for about 2 weeks, and he wasn't being he was non-responsive. So you know what the you know how the doctor approached him?
They just played him Looney Tunes episode.
Kinda. So the doctor went up to the unconscious Blank, and he asked him, "How you feeling today, Bugs?" After a slight pause, Blank answered in a weak voice, "Just fine, Doc. How are you?"
Yeah, I was gonna ask you when he woke up. Did he just go, "What's up, Doc?"
And right after that, the doctor then asked Tweety if he was there too, and he said, "I thought, put that." And that's how they got him out of his coma.
That's a great story.
That's fucking wild.
Yes, I love that story.
Yeah, it's like Mel Blanc is the king. He's the king. He's Elvis.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, you named the Looney Tunes character. That was him.
Yeah. No, the dude is a legend. If you ever want to see something cool, go watch old clips of him on late night talk shows to see the voice come out of the man. It's weird.
It's wild. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So on to the next show. Now, this is one that I kind of remember a little bit because it was more towards my early part of my life. And he is actually depicted on the shirt right here. This gentleman right here. It is none other than the Friendly Giant.
Okay. The big Friendly Giant or just
the Friendly Giant? So this is a show that went from 1958 to 1985. It did end before I was born, but I did catch it in replays. So it's only like a 15-minute show. It didn't last long, but basically it was one of those shows where it was the friendly giant, a giant named Friendly, castle, but he conversed with his puppet friends Rusty, which is a rooster, and Jerome,
Rusty the rooster. I love that.
who is Jerome, which is the giraffe right here. Basically they just how do I best describe this? Basically they just taught children about the basic things. This is basically what it was. Like, you gotta remember when the time it came out, it was the 50s. It was just basically a giant talking to kids with the use of puppets. That's all it was. But it definitely struck an image.
It sounds like it would have been the template for a lot of these kids shows today.
More or less, yes.
But I mean, it is very, very wholesome and charming and adorable, and I like that. Especially the names Rusty the Rooster and Jerome the Giraffe.
Yeah, and then it was I don't have a picture for this, but it was actually replaced by a show called Fred Penner's Place. Basically it took over the same idea, with puppets, musical numbers, and stuff like that. Fred Penner actually is someone I actually saw touring when I was a kid. He came to my town and played his songs. So Fred Penner to my generation in Canada is to the guy that you talked about last week. That's the equivalent.
Oh, Jonathan Geffen.
Yeah, except your guy Geffen had a bigger career, but it's pretty comparable. Except my guy had a TV show.
TV show, music album. It's all media.
Now, next up is another show in the vein. This one is more akin to Mr. Rogers.
Which I never watched because it wasn't broadcast here.
Oh man, there's a reason why Mr. Rogers is fondly looked at by a lot of our.
Yeah, I mean, when everyone lost their minds over the Mr. Rogers documentary and the Mr. Rogers movie, I was like feeling left out of the conversation.
You watched the documentary?
No, because again, I have no connection to it. I had no reason to watch it, and I feel bad about it.
I'd give it a shot just so you can understand. The fact that he went in front of Congress to argue against the cancellation of public television is just, he saved public access because he's right. It's a great tool for kids. But anyways, enough about the legend, Mr. Rogers. This is
kind of the polar opposite of Ben Gurion, but we're not going to get into that conversation right now.
This is a Canadian variation of it. His name is Mr. Dress Up. He's another person on my shirt. I'm going to take the image down. It's this gentleman right.
Nice.
There.
So this shirt is like the Avengers Endgame of children's icons.
Kinda. I actually found the logo in a store in a town next to me, and I got it made one time. It's a press-on logo. But yes, Mr. Dress Up. This is another person who actually toured Canada, and I did see him as a kid. What do you think he does?
He talks to puppets.
Okay, so
or how about this? He's a carpenter who makes puppets that come to life.
No. Okay, so Ernie Combs was Mr. Dress Up. He's been dead for 20 years. But basically, he was a show they aired every weekday morning, and he would teach children things through songs, stories, arts, crafts, imagination. He'd have his puppet friends, which was a boy named Casey and a dog named Finnegan, who lived with him and often played in his treehouse in his backyard. Basically, it was the Canadian equivalent of Mr. Rogers. It went off the air in 1996. It started a year before my mom was born in 1967, so he was on the air for almost 30 years.
Cool.
And he had this thing called the Tickle Trunk, which is where he would bring out all his costumes and stuff, and that's where the magic happened.
So, for us, what year is this, by the way?
For him?
Yeah.
So his run, he went from 67 to 96.
Oh, 90s. So we kind of had something like that, just not from the 60s, but it was called Nice Butterfly.
Interesting.
It was basically what?
Interesting.
Yeah, it was like a mix of puppets, real humans, and humans in large costumes that just sang songs and told stories and they just did all kinds of shenanigans for people to enjoy. Like they had Shabby the snail and Boots the turtle, and um, I think her name was Uza the bird. Can't remember the exact species of bird, but it was one of those long neck birds. Yeah, it was. The theme song's pretty iconic, though.
I don't remember Mr. Dress Up's theme song. I remember the show. I don't remember really much of the music or anything like that.
But the music is the most important part of these shows.
No, for this one though, for me it was more the stories, the arts and crafts, and that type of stuff.
Okay.
Now this next show, I'm actually really. This is the one that would be to me on this list would be the more likely one you've heard of. I'm hoping you have. Reboot.
I did hear about it. I never watched it though.
So this is, oh my god, up here, this is akin to like Transformers, like as in terms of how popular it was back in the day. This is funny enough. I've actually gone back and rewatched it, and it didn't hold up for me personally, but definitely held up for a lot of my friends to the point I actually gave one of them the complete series. Now, what do you know about this show?
Just that it was the first ever fully CGI TV show.
Okay. So the show is about a guardian named Bob and his companions Enzo and Dot Matrix, as they work to keep the computer system of mainframe safe from the viruses known as Megabyte and Hexadecimal, in addition to other threats. Oh yeah. So here's the characters. So you've got Bob, who's guardian number 452. He's basically what's the best way to describe it? He's the antivirus. You have Fong, who's the original command.com of mainframe. So basically he's the mentor and advisor to everybody. Basically he's the search engine. Dot Matrix is originally runs a local diner and many other quote-unquote businesses, and she takes over for Fong as the command in the third season. You have her younger brother Enzo, who idolizes Bob, and then something happens. I can't remember if it's at the end of the first season or the second season, but he ends up in the mainframe and he grows older, grows up to become the renegade simply known as Matrix. Basically, he's like a bounty hunter. Think of Kurt Russell in Escape from New York with the eye patch and everything. You've got
he's got the eye patch. Cool.
Oh, yeah. You've got Frisket, who is his dog. You got Andrala, who is a game sprite and friend, and later girlfriend for Enzo. She came from a game about Atlantis, and she has seashells all over. Basically, she's an AI. Megabyte is a command and conquer an infectious computer virus, and he is the main antagonist. He is an order virus. And then you had Hexadecimal, who is Megabyte's sister, and she's a chaotic computer virus whose face is represented by a series of masks, each portraying a different emotion. Then of course you had Mouse, who's a freelance hacker. You had Hack and Slash, who were like the pain and panic of the show. They're the comic relief henchmen.
That's an only combo. Why go there?
That too. And of course, the annoying Mike the TV. It's the walking TV that aids and hinders the heroes.
Is that like where the name Mike TV from the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory came from, or is that
other way around?
Oh yeah, the way around. Willy Wonka on the Chocolate Factory. Sorry, my bad.
No, this show is legendary status over here. Like I said, didn't hold up for me, but my friends still swear by it. Now this next one you also might be. I guarantee you've never heard of it, but you might actually enjoy it as well. It is it's kind of like a reality. It's more like a game show where what they would do is they would play games that were out of the time for prizes and some of that. It was a TV show called Video and Arcade Top 10. Basically, it was a competitive game show in which contestants played against each other in video games for prizes with assorted reviews and profile segments on current games, music, and movies featured as well. Now, I mostly watched this as a kid, but basically, kids would compete to see who could complete games like Super Mario, Sonic, those style games for prizes. And I would always watch it because I would try to learn how to play the video games. Yeah, it was interesting. I tried to get on it. I had no clue.
I mean, we kind of had a children's game show over here for many, many years called Sheshtus, but it wasn't really video games. It was more like kind of like Survivor, like we're climbing things. solving puzzles. It was like survival for kids without actually dropping them on an island. Like
Okay.
they took them to a studio. All of the sets were built on the spot. There was no nature involved. But I mean, they like climbing like mountains or racing and other stuff like the sort of things you'd see on Survivor, just for kids. And they had these teams and everything.
There were some American shows that were kind of like that. They just didn't go out into the wilderness. But no, when Voodoo came out top 10, like I said, you'd see Super Nintendo. You'd see it was primarily a Nintendo show. What can I say? You saw games played on the Game Boy, Super NES, 64, GameCube. They would occasionally later on do some Sony PlayStation games.
But still sticking within the Japanese area.
Pretty much. Yeah, I saw watching this show years ago. It was off the air by 2006. Now this is another one from my adolescent years. This definitely played into the immature child in me. It was a show called Sticking Around. Now, the reason why I chose this image is because it definitely shows you what kind of characters we're dealing with.
Oh, come on! The most overused joke about space in the history of the universe.
It was the 90s, okay? It wasn't that overused at that point.
It is, but it is now.
Oh, totally now. No, basically it was a show about two best friends named Stacy and Bradley, and it was their adventures are from their fantasies. All of it is hand drawn. You had Stacy Stickler, who is an 8-year-old quiet but bossy girl who loves imagining many things with Bradley. She often says F for your big fat information and real mature Bradley. You've got her friend Bradley, who is he was 9 years old. He wears thick black rimmed glasses and a red backwards cap. He often imagines himself as a superhero, secret agent, robot, or vampire. His
depends on what mood he's in that day.
His favorite fantasy is that aliens from Uranus are behind whatever problem they are facing, much to Stacy's annoyance. You got Frank, who's Stacy's overweight wiener dog, who sometimes is involved in the adventures. You got Lester, who is Bradley's pet chameleon, who blends in the background and is usually the source of much trouble. You got Lance, who's a bully who picks on everybody at school, who he nicknames Bradley Scradley. This was... I've seen clips in recent years, and they still make me chuckle.
Yeah. It's so... I had a joke about what. Dang it! I should have said it when you can go back and read that description again and see if I can remember the joke.
How it's about two best friends named Stanley and Bradley, and their imagination makes up most of the show.
No. Go on the rest of it. It was a really good one. I was in the middle of drinking while I.
Oh shit! Was I talking about one of the characters?
Yeah, the character breakdown.
Okay, so you had Stacy, who the 8-year-old main girl, Bradley, the 9-year-old best friend who always blamed things on aliens from Uranus.
Oh yeah, so it's basically like that meme from the History Channel of like
aliens.
Ancient aliens.
Yeah, that basically.
See, I knew I was smart to ask you to go back and read it.
All right, so we have two more that I'm going to discuss. This came out before I was born, ended when I was a little young, but I did catch it in syndication a lot. It is a great animated TV show called The Raccoons.
I think Ben talked about it once.
I think you might have heard myself and Ben talk about it before. Sorry?
No, I coughed. Sorry.
Okay, so the series is about Bert Raccoon and his friends Ralph and Melissa Raccoon, who are married, and they also are his roommate. The series mostly involves the trio's efforts against the industrial forces of greedy Aardvark, Cyril Sneer, who regularly tries to destroy, who's basically like a Mr. Burns-ish, who regularly tries to destroy the forest for personal wealth. However, the Raccoons always save their forest from several streams with help from their forest friends, including Schaefer, a gentle old English sheepdog, Cedric, Cyril's college graduate son, and Sophia Tutu, Cedric's girlfriend. As the series progresses, Cyril becomes more of a sympathetic character, eventually becoming an anti-hero, becoming more responsible in his priorities and business practices. Originally, this took place in a hidden world in the Evergreen Forest, where a small human family of a forest ranger and his children reside, not knowing about these creatures. However, that kind of they got removed in the second season, so focused more on the kids, on the animals and stuff like that. But basically, it had action in it, it had humor, it had romance, and it also focused on environmentalism, which is a good thing to teach your kids from a young age.
Yep.
I found all these episodes on YouTube. They're no longer there anymore. Somebody, I was pretty bummed. All right, so this last one I included on here. This one it was more from when I was in my early teens, ready to go into high school. And this one has someone who broke out big on the show. It is. I'm going to read you the premise. It is a show called Breaker High, and it is a series about a high school located on a cruise ship. Although basically the episodes follow them in their wacky adventures all around the globe. Now, the reason why I want to include this is take a look at this cast picture. Tell me if you can recognize anyone famous in there, and I mean famous.
A little hard to tell when they're this young.
Okay, so there is an actor on here. So this, this is the first place
an actor. What?
It's an actor. It's the first place I saw him. He was mostly known as a comedic character actor by this point, but later on he went to be in movies like The Notebook. Ryan Gosling got his break on this.
Damn.
This was like. This and Hercules were the two shows that put him on the map.
I mean, you can definitely tell
the
Ryan Gosling-ness from this image.
Yeah, this was a show. Like, oh, totally. Like it's Ryan Gosling at his like teen idol phase.
Yeah.
This aired usually late at night or early in the morning. So if I was up, I would watch it. But other than that, because like I said, it was at weird hours. But yeah, it was just a teen. It was like a Saved by the Bell, Babysitter's Club type show. Just a teen show. They followed them around on their adventures all over the world. And Ryan Gosling's character was Bart Simpson, toned down.
Even got the hair.
Right down to the hair, yeah. And his best friend was played by Taylor Labine, who's someone who's gone on to do some things as well. I'm not going to name him because I don't think you've seen them, but people over here are like, oh, I recognize that guy. All right. Well, that's actually that's all the shows I had.
Cool.
Yeah. Any of them stand out to you in particular?
Well, for starters, I did not know that The Big Comfy Couch was a Canadian show.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me just... now that we're done, I can go into the brands, and so I won't get spoiled. What else did I watch? There was another show that you talked about and that I did see. Oh yeah, Babar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, after you showed me The Big Comfy Couch and then Babar, I was like, or Babar as you say, we say Babar.
Yeah,
like,
I've heard them both.
Yeah, but after those two, I'm like, okay, I've seen this, I've seen that one. What's next? Arthur?
Yeah, see, I went. Arthur's American, but I didn't. That one I didn't watch regular. I didn't watch a lot, but yeah, I know about Arthur. Arthur the Aardvark.
So yeah, I mean that and the Magic School Bus.
Oh God, I love the Magic School Bus.
Yeah, these are the types of shows that are universally beloved.
I used to watch. I used to watch that show religiously as a kid, and I used to play the computer games.
There were computer games for the Magic
Bus. Oh yeah.
Oh,
educational school games. Now, do you buy that's River's song in Another Life? Come on. Don't tell me you don't see the similarities.
I mean, that's kind of River's song and Iris Wildthyme melded into one character.
But tell me you didn't.
Both of which are kind of, the same character-ish, but I mean, I would definitely love to see a crossover of River Song, Iris Wildthyme, and Mrs. Priesel, and just sitting in the bar.
I don't recognize the other two.
Mrs. Priesel? Priesel? That's the woman from the Magic School Bus.
Miss Frizzle.
Well, over here it's called Prizzle.
Oh no, it's Miss Frizzle.
Because of the frizz. Now it makes sense in my head.
And now I'm like, who the hell is Miss Frizzle?
Yeah, Miss Frizzle, River Song, and Iris Wildthyme.
You ever heard of the show Captain Planet?
Yes, I think it was also on around my time. I just never really watched
So
it.
there is a meme out there where they're just like the kids from Magic School Bus grew up to be the kids from Captain Planet because of the same ethnicity, same genders, everything.
Just less kids. Wonder what happened to the other guys.
Let's see if I can bring up that picture.
But I have seen the meme, by the way.
Yeah, but for those who are watching, who haven't seen it, Magic.
By our powers combined, a meme.
Yep. I love live TV, folks. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to expand it. There.
You know, it's almost like the Scooby-Doo gang are basically the exact same people from Jabberjaw and Josie and the Pussycats.
But yeah, take a look at that.
I mean, that is kind of uncanny.
It very much so, and they were because I think Captain Planet was off the air by the time Magic School Bus came on.
So it was the reverse.
I think so, yeah. When did that?
So the Magic School Bus was a prequel.
It might be, yeah.
What was the name of the lizard? Lizzie? Liz. Yeah, Liz. Liz the lizard.
Yeah. Let's see. Captain Planet was off the air by 96. So no, there actually was some crossover. Oh, LeVar Burton was on here. He voiced one of the
LeVar Burton.
LeVar Burton voiced Kwame, the character from Africa.
In Captain Planet or Magic School Bus?
Captain Planet, yeah.
Well, damn.
Cool. Whoa, look at the list of people who voiced villains. Ed Asner. John Ratzenberger.
What?
Jeff Goldblum voiced a villain in the first
Jeff
season.
Goldblum?
Yeah.
In Captain Planet?
Dean Stockwell. Frank Welker.
Of course, naturally.
He voiced a character called Lead Suit. Yeah. Meg Ryan did a voice for a character in the first season. James Coburn. Martin Sheen.
Yeah.
And the singer Sting.
Sting?
Yeah.
Sting?
So he played a character named Zarm. Sting voiced him from 1990 to 1992. The late, great David Warner took over for him for 92. And then after that, Malcolm McDowell finished the run. That is cool. That is cool.
So you literally went from Sting to the Unbound Doctor to Caesar.
Yeah.
Wait, no. That's Caesar?
Caligula.
Caesar, that's not Malcolm McDowell. Sorry. That was
Malcolm McDowell was Caligula.
Yeah. And from the guy from Star Trek. But I mean,
yeah. He's in Generations, yes.
Yeah, but who was Caesar? Dang it, I should know this. I studied those 8 movies. Come on.
Roddy McDowell.
Roddy McDowell. Dang it.
Yeah, no,
And you're a winner. What?
No, Malcolm McDowell is you boy. No, like I said, he was in Caligula, Clockwork Orange.
Clockwork Orange and Star Trek Generations.
Yeah. And he played Metallo in the Superman the Animated Series.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, he was married to Mary Steenburgen for 10 years. Did not know that. If you don't know the name, Mary Steenburgen is Clara from Back to the Future Part 3.
Oh, the good Clara from the time travel story.
Yes. All right, 50. What do you have planned for us for next week?
Well, so these last couple of weeks, I mean, I did an episode about children's nursery rhymes and children's songs, and you did a show about children TV shows, and it was mostly just we mainly stuck around in the child friendly, family friendly, wholesome zone. So I was thinking for next week, how about we do fucking swear words, you beautiful douchebag, you?
Okay, let's fucking go for it. What are the swear
Yeah,
words?
yeah, let's class up this shitty joint a little bit, eh?
We'll be discussing the 7 words you can't say on television by George Carlin. No, I'm kidding.
No, we're just going over Hebrew swear words that are common in every conversation, basically.
Okay, so if we're doing that, then the next week we're doing French swear words.
I
French Canadian
like
swear
that.
words.
Like that.
Because French Canadian swear words are derived from religious terms.
Oh. You'd actually be surprised how many swear words used in an Israeli conversation aren't actually in Hebrew.
I'm not saying I wouldn't be surprised, as we learned when we did the language episodes.
Yeah, a lot of the really heavily used swear words actually come from Arabic.
That makes sense. They all got to start somewhere.
I mean, to be fair, they do have some really fucking awesome swear words, but let's just put it that way.
Oh yeah, no, I can't wait to go. Wow, so this is gonna be Fun with Flags After Dark.
No, this is gonna be fuck with flags.
Oh, dude, you need to redesign. Dude, you seriously have to redesign the thumbnail for that.
Thumbnail's not my department. I do the intro.
Well, I mean, but you did the main thing though. You did the main logo.
No, that was Luke, man.
This wasn't it?
That was Luke.
Oh shit! I thought so. Okay. Okay. Let's see if I can get that fixed for the next 2 weeks.
Well, you fucking better.
Yeah, I'll give him my fucking college try here.
Yeah, we're going explicit on this mother effing plays next week.
That's right. All right. So before we get ourselves taken off the air for the amount of swearing we're gonna do,
in this relatively children friendly episode, let's put it that way.
Yeah. Where can everybody find you?
You can find me chilling over on my channel, 50 Shades of Geek, where I do weekly reviews of every single Doctor Who episode from 1963 all the way to 2022. And if you want to hear me talk more Doctor Who, you can find me on this channel on The Greatest Show in the Galaxy every Monday. And also this show, by the way.
As for myself, Soda_the_Saxman. You can find me doing the shows on this channel with 50. You can also find me over on my wrestling channel, So Diggin' Network, where every Monday we go live and talk about the week in wrestling. We did a live watch along for AEW Double or Nothing a couple weeks ago. I do shorts if something big happens in the world of wrestling. I just did a short on my thoughts on the passing of the Iron Sheik this week. And my very first one, Be Gentle, where I did a quick review of WWE's Night of Champions live reaction. So definitely go check over there and look up the content. We're gonna have some great stuff coming down the pike. All right. So on behalf of
you as usual, you forgot about this.
Yes, I'm gonna leave that to you to do because I'm gonna forget.
So while you're out checking out my channel and his new channel, you can also check out all the other channels on the Benverse Network, like Something to Talk About, the aforementioned Galaxy Geeks channel by Luke, a Multiverse of Geekdom, Movie Lovers Unite, The Midnight Cinema, and of course A-Town Reviews. And we haven't actually put it on this image yet, but also go check out In the Front Row as well.
Yes. All right. So on behalf of myself and 50, thank you very much for watching the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you next week on Fun with Flags. Guys, just let your geek flag fly during the week. That's all we ask. And especially do it in honor of this guy. Love you, Ben. See you later.